Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Buzz Behind Sports. Last year, when we did this conversation right after the TMM of last year, the whole conversation was more about the Tata Mumbai Marathon and how the event functioned. But this year's episode is more data driven. And for this episode, we have Rohit sir and Ayushi ma'am with us. We've talked a lot about how they've been involved in making the impact, the socio-economic impact report of the Tata Mumbai Marathon, and how that impacts not only the runners but all the people who are involved in this very massive event. So to know more, watch the entire episode and stay tuned. All right. Hello, Rohit sir. Hello, Ayushi ma'am, and welcome back to Buzz Behind Sports. This podcast that we're having today about the Tata Mumbai Marathon, so many questions that I have to ask you. But let's just start with, what makes Tata Mumbai Marathon the race it is? What makes it so special? Why is it such a big event?
Right. Thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting us on the show. It's a pleasure to be speaking for Buzz Behind Sports. To answer your question, I think it is one of the marquee events in the country, sport events in the country. I think Tata Mumbai Marathon completed 20 years of its existence in this country, and the event that started at probably a small scale is now one of the most looked after event in the country. People from across the country, and not just restricted to India, but people from outside countries also look forward to this event, which is in the month of January. So definitely one event that unites so many people in this country as well as from outside the country. So I think it's just growing.
Right.
It's just growing from strength to strength. The runners, the participants are enjoying, looking forward to this event. And it's not just a racing event, I would say. It's something more than that.
Right.
Today, people from all strata of societies, be it a young school student to someone who is above the age of 80, also is a part of this event. So it's uniting everyone.
So, a big part of this conversation is about the impact report that TMM releases along with collaboration with IISM. And, before we delve into the details of all of that, what I want for me to understand and the viewers to understand is, how are you both involved in this whole process? So what is your role? Can we start with you, Ayushi ma'am?
Sure. So I would like to build on what Rohit sir just said. Like, the community is growing, and the amount of participants that participate in Tata Mumbai Marathon with every edition is increasing.
Right.
And that kind of brings a lot of people to a city like Mumbai, and people are running on the streets of Mumbai. So it's creating a huge impact on Mumbai as a city itself. And also, since we have so many runners running, just like Sir said, it's not a competition. It's fostering a sense of increasing health.
It's an emotion now.
Correct. Agreed. So I think the report specifically emphasizes on how the health is impacted for the runners in the running community.
Right.
How is it socially impacting and making more bigger connections in the running community? And also speak about the economic impact. A lot of people are spending on their health, spending on coming to the run, etc. So it's a amalgamation of all these three aspects in the running community with Tata.
Right. So could you expand a little more about what exactly has the role been of both of you in the Tata Mumbai Marathon, and how have you been working on the event?
Since 2020, IISM is developing a research report. It's called the Socio-Economic Impact Report of the Tata Mumbai Marathon. So we work very closely with the organizing team, that is ProCam, in terms of developing the entire report that focuses mainly on the social and the economic factors regarding running. It also we speak about the health factors, not just social and economic, but we collect a lot of primary data in from huge set of or number of runners across a period of 2 months, 3 months, where a lot of students are involved in collecting this primary data, where students go to running hotspots. Like, you name a Shivaji Park, you name a Marine Drive, you name a Sanjay Gandhi National Park, you name a RA Colony, running hotspots where they collect a lot of data from these runners, primary real-time raw data, that is the questions that are specific to how their health is impacting on uh, everyday running. How what are the different types of nutritional plans they are taking, what are the different types of running clubs they are a part of, what are the different types of uh, you know uh, the different level of running or the different type of marathons they are running, how how they are contributing to the society,
Right.
how they look up to a Tata Mumbai Marathon in terms of you know developing their health, or how are they basically impacting the society as well from the economic point of view or from the social point of view.
Right.
And a complete 360-degree view of all the questions regarding running are a part of this research.
Right.
And that's how we then work on developing a detailed report about how TMM has actually impacted these runners over the years. And this actually helps the stakeholders of the Tata Mumbai Marathon in doing things in a better manner for the next or the upcoming year of the Tata Mumbai Marathon.
Right.
So to add on to Sir's point of view, our roles as faculties who take care of the entire report is that we take care of the questionnaires that are designed so that all, like he said, 360-degree view is covered.
Right.
And we guide the students to analyze the primary data that is received post runs. So that is totally our ball game, that we take students, we make them, take the primary data. And it's a learning for us as well as the students as to what kind of analysis is done post getting all the data.
I mean, students are also when I speak to the students after or during the when they are collecting the data, students actually come across a lot of different types of runners. They are not just restricted to a single particular person who is doing a 9 to 5 p.m. job and is running. There are people who are ex-army men. There are people who are about the age of 80 years. There are people who have run the Tata Mumbai Marathon from the inception, from 2004 to 2025. So 20 years throughout. There are people who are handicapped. There are people who are probably who do not or are not able to manage their day-to-day needs. They are still running the marathon. So different types of runners, and getting different types of answers from different type of people is also something that is remarkable, and students get to learn so many things out of it.
Right. Right. So, you guys have given a very good brief of what the report is. I would like to dive into individual sections now and talk about certain specific aspects. I was going through the report, the last year's report, the 2024 report, and I saw this number that completely baffled me. So, the number I saw was, the economic impact or the kind of amount that was churned out through the marathon was 367 crores. That is a massive number. So, what goes behind driving this entire economic engine of such a big amount in this event?
So this is not just so economic impact. You have to understand from two points of view what kind of money people are ready to spend. So it involves a lot of different factors. One primary thing being nutrition and supplements.
Right.
Like what food are they eating? What supplements are they taking to run the Tata Marathon? That creates a huge impact.
Right.
It can also be what kind of shoes, what kind of apparels they are buying from different stakeholders. Like there's all the brands that you name, Essex, Nike, Adidas, etc. What kind of money is getting pumped into these sectors? It also includes money that is spent on technology, that is use of smartwatches, use of good phones for that matter. Could be a subscription for an app like Strava. Could be any extra tech that they're using and they're able to pump in money.
Right.
And also, with this, I would like to add that people are ready to spend extra money on the new initiative that Tata Mumbai Marathon just started last year. That is the Green Web initiative.
The Green Web.
And people put in a lot of money in that. So this economic impact is a big number, which is churned out by the number of participants. We all know that participants cross over 60,000. Last year it was 59. Now this year it has crossed 60,000. So you can, 60,000 and plus 64. So we have to understand that so many people doing so many things, it's kind of a multiplicative effect, and that's how the numbers are big.
I'll just get to the green bib point very shortly, but before that, another number game that I want to come to was about, what kind of charity work was happening through TMM. And again, those numbers were phenomenal. I mean, almost an amount of 72 crores was given towards charity and was raised for charity just throughout the event. So, having such massive amount of philanthropy, how does that impact, the success of such a big sporting event?
So always Tata Mumbai Marathon has a backstory of running for a cause. A lot of runners run for a cause when they come to Tata Mumbai Marathon. And I would like to give out some numbers that were, raised sector-wise in this, the number that you just mentioned, 72 crores. So education, the raise was about 40%, education being a cause. Animal welfare, 27.8%. Children and education being 11.13%, health being 6%, disability being 6%, so on and so forth. In this line by line, social, civic and community development, livelihood generation, arts, culture and sports, environment, women empowerment, gender equality and elderly care.
That's a long list.
Yeah, that's a very long list that they work on, and this funds directly go to such causes and it's for the good. So I think Tata Mumbai Marathon, other than empowering running communities, it's working for different causes.
All right. So, Rohit, a point that you mentioned, about having a very wide spectrum of runners, people who are there from all walks of life. And I think that contributes a lot to the social impact the event has. So, now that you've been involved with research and especially getting primary data out of such runners, any specific inspiring stories that you've seen probably of people who've come there to run a marathon or run the event?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard quite a few stories from over the years about the Tata Mumbai Marathon. I mean, people who are, just imagine someone who is above the age of 80 years or someone who is almost touching 90 years, is running a marathon, not a 42, but even if that person is, running a 10 kilometer or a dream run or a, 21 kilometer, whatsoever marathon, that spirit is commendable. It's something that not many people would do, right? There are people in this society who are young, energetic, but still don't run. But there are people who are, above the age of, 80, 85 years who are still energetic and running those marathons. That's great. I have seen people who are on a wheelchair, who are, special people, who are disabled people, but, that does not stop them from, participating in a marathon. So that requires great courage. That requires something that is, absolutely. I mean, we should be, really happy and thankful to those kind of people to be a part of the Tata Mumbai Marathon and to make the marathon a success story. I know someone personally. I have a friend who only and only runs the Tata Mumbai Marathon. Does not run or participate in any of the marathons over the year. There are so many marathons that happen every weekend, but does not take or get involved into any of the marathons, but is always there for a Tata Mumbai Marathon. Only one marathon in a year, but she tells me that she loves the vibe of that marathon. Right. So, such people are there in the society. Right. So another point that you mentioned was about the health aspect, of how you collected data related to how people's health are impacted. And this was another thing that was mentioned in the report last year, where I think about 67% of the people reported that they had reduced or almost no usage of medication, after training for the event or after running a marathon. So what other kind of health benefits do you see, especially among people who, are training for such an event, who are running in the marathon?
So I would like to give a scientific explanation to this. Everybody can understand.
Yeah,
basically, running is something that involves a lot of blood circulation and a lot of blood pressure patients, and even American Health Association (AHA) gives out and tells that you should have activity of 150 minutes and more to have better heart health. So that kind of correlates to the fact that people have low medication, or lower medication, specifically speaking on the point of the blood pressure patients, and even in general, your health is uplifted. That is the first thing. And the second thing is, other than having health benefits, people have also told that there are less amount of stress that they feel that is directly linked to exercise being able to uplift your mood.
So your mental health, basically.
Yeah, mental health is also improved. And in the last year's report, a lot of people have said that the psychological or mental health is better if they are running or post a run. So
Right.
such kind of events or just training for such an event is going to create a lot of impact on the health of an individual.
True. So there's another term that has been going on where we've talked about the sisterhood of running and how TMM is kind of involved in the empowerment of women runners as well and women athletes or women in general. So what can you tell us about this whole topic?
So women in running. So this was started at the TMM itself that women who are running at the marathon are becoming friends, and then that is the running event is sorry. Quick. So Sisterhood of Running is such a initiative or a different set of group of people or women who are specifically becoming friends when they're coming to the Tata Mumbai Marathon.
Right.
Somebody like me and my friend, not me and my friend, me and somebody from Bangalore is running and become friends at the Mumbai Marathon. And we continue to be friends ahead and, empower women and running in general.
Right.
So a lot of people have started their own groups and communities, a lot of women specifically, and have started even initiating their own short marathons or short runs so that they can empower women and running.
And I'll just add something to this, not just restricted to
Women.
Sisterhood of Running, but it's because of Tata Mumbai Marathon that we are seeing so many run clubs today. Right?
So many communities.
Communities. There's this Bombay Running Club, Nike Running Club, Adidas Run Clubs that operate on a day-to-day basis, and there are so many people who are part of these run clubs.
Right.
Right? They run across the city. They arrange so many events, running events, social events, where more and more people are getting involved with these clubs. The whole purpose is definitely to socialize, but also to improve their health.
Correct.
So it's only because of this particular Tata Mumbai Marathon that it has given birth to so many run clubs and social groups.
Right. So another point that you mentioned was about technology. And of course, we've seen this trend growing over the years that people are using more and more of wearable technologies or the different mobile applications that you spoke about. Then, so how does, integrating technology change the whole experience of a marathon for a runner person?
So nice question. Actually, we are living in this world of technology today. Technological advancements have happened so much in not just with regards to running, but in general.
Right.
So today, as more and more people are involved in the sport of running or have taken running as a daily activity, they are able to track their progress. Right. 10 years, 15 years ago, there was nothing like a smart watch. There was nothing like a digital watch where I could count my steps, where I could keep a track on in terms of how many kilometers have I ran.
Right.
Or there was no application as such. I just knew that I had to run for 2 hours a day, as simple as that. Or I had to walk for 1 hour. Or I just had a treadmill in front of me where I could walk for 30 minutes or run for 30 minutes, whatsoever.
Right.
But today, people have started wearing a watch, a smartwatch, where they can track their calories, where they can track their step counts, where they can track their body mass index, all sort of
Everything.
things, right? And that is actually giving them a motivation in terms of doing better every day. And in the end, the end result is basically to get fitter. So the watches any technology is actually helping them take up running or any sort of healthy lifestyle, right? And that's my take in terms of technology, how technology has helped.
So to extrapolate Sir's point, yes, the basic need of understanding how much I am training becomes very crucial for an athlete or an individual who wants to progress in this field, or progress in the marathon itself. Nobody starts with the 42K directly. It's very difficult. So somebody has to progress from the 10 to the 21 to the 42. So to even track individual training and performances, it becomes crucial to integrate technology. And you can definitely progress. And the training programs are such that you need to map your runs and time it.
Right.
So time categories, we speak about people finishing marathons in 2.5, 3 hours, and we have to time ourselves. So this becomes a very crucial integration.
Right. So I just want to dial back to something you said earlier about the Green Whip. I want you to kind of expand on what this Green Whip initiative is and what has it done to the whole TMM.
So this was started last year. There was a first edition where Green Web was launched, where people had the choice to take up the Green Web.
Right.
They had to pay a certain amount to get the Green Web from Tata Mumbai Marathon. And what in return Tata Mumbai was doing is planting trees back. This called afforestation, so that more oxygen, more greener we are, the better we are. So it was a hit because a lot of people have voluntarily given their consent to pay and get this done. So it's a very crucial thing because we are living in a world where there's a lot of trees cut down, etc. So this is a very good initiative by the Mumbai Marathon.
Right. So I kind of want to come back to the whole research aspect of the report that we were talking about. Now that you are primarily involved with a lot of the research, what kind of trends do you see? I mean, I'm sure that you've been involved in this event for a couple of years now. It's not just this edition, right? So what kind of changing trends are we seeing when it comes to, maybe the way people are training for the event, or the way they approach their nutrition, or in general, the runners' motivations or mindsets that they have to, run a marathon? I mean, it's almost like you're paying your own hard-earned money and then going out there and running. So, what is going on in the runner's mind, and how things changed over the years?
So, we are, or IISM is basically making the socio-economic impact report since 2020. So, the first edition of covering this or making this report was in the year 2020, and this was pre-pandemic.
Right.
Okay? So, there was a lot of things that were different before the pandemic as compared to today, where post the pandemic, today people have completely have had a mind shift in terms of how running can actually be one of their key lifestyle aspects.
Right.
How it is impacting their health, how it is impacting the society, how actually it is an overall benefit in terms of not just for leisure but for their health purposes as well.
Correct.
Right? COVID has actually changed people's perspective in terms of how running could be a asset to how it can be a bigger asset, right? So that has changed. The people's mindset have changed in regards to how they were spending from for a nutritious meal before pandemic to how nutrition has become a very crucial part in their day-to-day life. That's one thing. Second thing, people have started the economy. With the change in economy, people have started investing on themselves. Now, when I say investing on themselves, that means that people have started buying good running shoes.
Right.
Shoes that are comfortable for them in terms of, even if it is costing them
a good
amount, they still don't mind because they are it's helping them.
It's almost like a health investment for them.
Health investment, correct. There are people who are traveling from different states of this country only to be a part of this Tata Mumbai Marathon, and that speaks volumes as well.
Right.
I mean, people are traveling actually from the northeast to Mumbai, so from all the way from the east coast to the west coast of the country, right? And finding an accommodation in this city, finding a way to reach the venue, and then being a part of this marathon, again traveling back to their home state. Also, there's a lot of expenses that are incurred in all of this, but the main crux of this entire thing is being a part of this event, completing this event, having a feeling of accomplishment,
Right.
And that's how the TMM has grown strength to strength. So that's exactly from the social point of view, that's exactly from the economic point of view, how things are changing, how the perspective of runners are changing from over the years. And that's actually helping us make the report in a detailed manner. And with every year we are getting some new points to add, and which can be actually the highlight of that particular year of marathon.
Right. Anything that you would like to add, Ayushi ma'am?
So one thing that I would like to mention is that TMM does a lot of work on zero landfill to waste. That is a lot of recycling of waste that is taken care of so that it becomes eco-friendly.
Right.
So add on to the sustainability point of view, it becomes a very good marathon to have like a standpoint and understand what we can take ahead and whatever other marathons are there could learn from all this.
Right.
And to add on to what Sir said, plus for spending limits on say supplements tech here,
Right.
plus on coming from not only from other parts of India but also from globally, people are coming and running the marathon.
Right.
That becomes important. And the third thing is the willingness to support a cause is seen more in this participants over just running for the sake of it.
Right, right. So, a point that you mentioned about a lot of students from IISM being involved in this entire process and working across different departments in the marathon, it's like people are working everywhere in the marathon. But more so talking about the research aspect of it. So the people who are working with you, the students who are working with you, how has their experience been, and how does it benefit a student, when they're working on such a massive event?
Yeah, I mean, very good question from a student point of view. So if we start the journey, like how right from developing the questionnaire to getting or seeing their name in the report when the report is published is something that is really exciting for a student. They can actually use this for their own benefit for whenever they are and when they enter the industry. Right. So that is the outline of this. But from if we speak in detail about it, right? It's not just about developing the questions. They have to brainstorm in terms of what are the different type of questions that would be involved. What can we ask a potential runner?
Right.
It's not just restricted to one specific topic. It's across tech and gear. It involves questions related to health. It involves questions related to how runners buy their shoes.
Right.
So different category. The questions related to different categories. That's the start point. Then second point is basically when they are at the expo or when they reach the hotspots or for running,
Right.
they interact with different types of runners. They get to know different types of stories of the people. It's easier said than done to just go and take a survey, but it actually takes guts to speak to someone, reach out to them, because they may feel rejection as well.
Of course.
Some people would say, sorry, we are not available or we don't have time to fill the report. But
Right.
still not giving up. And again, reaching out to different types of runners also is something that is giving them a sense of confidence, speaking to people, public speaking, that is, third is, being part of the Tata Mumbai Marathon Expo. So the expo happens 4 days or 3 days in the city of Mumbai, where students again are a part of collecting a lot of data, researching,
Right.
And then we have something called as the post race survey as well, where students get to understand the other side of marathon, where runners have to say about or have to, they speak about how their overall experience has been in terms of the Tata Mumbai Marathon. That's one thing. Then after all the thing is done, they actually work on developing the report, where their data analytics skills get sharpened, where their communication skills or writing of the report gets sharpened,
Right.
where they get to understand how to summarize an economic report, how to economic data, not report, economic data, in terms of understanding what are the different testimonials which they have to write. For example, this year's the chief guest or the not chief guest,
The
I would
ambassador
say
for
the
the event.
ambassador for running was Sir Mo
Sir
Farah,
Mo Farah, right.
right? So writing about Sir Mo Farah is something for a first year, someone who is a 17 or 18-year-old, is huge.
Right.
So they get to learn a lot of things, not just restricted to the report, but they get to understand and learn other aspects related to sport as well.
Right.
So it's not just restricted to running or Tata Mumbai Marathon, but a complete exposure.
Right. So I think you very beautifully mentioned the whole learning part that is there for the students. But I kind of want to dive to the other side of it, where, what challenges do they face? And especially, given the fact that you mentioned a number that was close to 64,000, I think, for this year, when you have an event where you have such a massive number of runners coming through, people coming through, what challenges do you pose when it comes to doing such kind of primary research?
So the major challenges, so now you have to look at the side that these students, like Sir mentioned, good communication skills, approaching people with, utmost positivity, empathy,
Right.
etc. So students have to deal with 600 and odd and more responses per student to get that kind of a data. So that is
Right.
very challenging to take care of, reaching to the athlete, telling them what the survey is about, what
Right.
is entailed, etc. A lot of people refuse, so we have to tell them that politely accept the refusal. Don't think about what they're going to say and move on to the next
Right.
runner. So
Right.
that is, I think, the major challenge is for getting that data from the participants. And students this year have done a phenomenal job. They have crossed 5,500 odd responses. And for students, they have interviewed or they have taken data from approximately 600 odd runners. I think
Right.
it's very commendable for the students who have done.
Of course. So, talking about the involvement of students in this, and not only research. I mean, as I mentioned before, there are students who work in the whole event management aspect of the Tata Mumbai Marathon as well. So, what advice would you have for students specifically, thinking of working in the research field or in the event management field, specifically related to running events or other sporting events as well?
I mean, this running industry is just growing.
Hmm.
Uh, 20 years ago, we did not even know that we would be developing a research report on a Tata Mumbai Marathon, right? And today we are actually having a report which is read by so many stakeholders, so many industry professionals
Right.
across the city, and they are actually using this report to make sure that, or to speak, or to decide, basically, not speak, but to decide as to what would their strategy be for the next year's marathon.
Right.
So, and if this report is developed by the students should take, or they, in fact, they take a lot of pride in terms of, showing it on, showing to their peers, to their families, to their friends, that they have actually made a contribution in terms of developing this report, which industry people are using.
Right.
Right. So, and as I said in my previous statement, that it's not just restricted to running. You get to understand so many other skills. It can be from the data analytics point of view. It can be from collecting numbers. It can be something from sharpening your mathematics, your writing skills, your mathematics skills,
Right.
communication skills, and that is actually going to help a student when they complete their education.
Right.
And go go out in the industry, right? Like, for example, someone is actually keen on getting a job in the running industry, right? This report is actually going to help them be the front runner for when they are in an interview process.
Right.
Right. If, for example, have to speak about, if someone who is an interviewer, if they ask them what is this report about, they have 10 minutes, 15 minutes of speaking that this is the report that was developed by me. And that gives them a edge over other candidates, right?
Correct.
So I really don't think that students don't like this, or students are very much focused on this kind of a report.
Right.
And also, the students are not thinking from a, so I really don't think that the students are thinking from a short term point of view. Okay, it's from the long term point of view that the students are getting involved in these types of research. Working for a period of 6 to 7 months in a year on this specific report.
Right.
Again, doing the same in the next year, and then when they are actually going for their interviews, that is actually helping them for grabbing a job.
Right.
And to add on to what you said about the event management part of it, a lot of students are involved in the event management. You have to realize that you have to take care of 64,000 odd participants running on the streets of Mumbai, and also
and the challenges of those 64,000.
Yes, exactly.
64,000 challenges of 64,000 people.
Yeah.
So
that kind of needs a lot of event management skills to take care of such a big.
True. So, there is something that even I've read about marathons, say per se that the running market in, let's say, Europe or US is kind of declining in the sense of there's no growth in that market. It's kind of become stagnant. But when we talk about Asia and more particularly India, the market is on a boom. So the running market is just growing, and with that, is obviously very visible with the fact that the number of participants in events like the TMM is just increasing year by year. So, in general, what is the future of the running industry or the future of such running events?
I think the future of running industry is really bright. We are seeing so many people run on the streets of not just Mumbai but across the country.
Right.
People are taking running as, so people have actually started taking running as, or have included running in their daily routine. It's
Right.
not just for their leisure, but it's a part of their daily life.
Correct.
And there's so much youth in this country. India is a youth oriented country today, and most of this youth is into sport, is into active living, right? And running is actually helping them take up different sports. You play any sport, but to be fit, you need to have a run.
Yeah.
So that's actually helping them.
Right.
So the future of running, as you said, is great. And we are not just restricted to a Tata Mumbai Marathon today. There are so many marathons that are happening in this city, in this
Right.
country.
Right.
Procam itself is organizing 4 marathons in a country.
Yes.
Be it a Mumbai, be it a Bangalore, be it a Delhi, be it a Calcutta. Plus there are so many other marathons that happen in this country, and it's giving so many opportunities to people to work in the running industry, to be a part of the marathons, and then also to boost the overall economy of this country.
Just to add on to that, running or walking or brisk walking is a general recommendation for uplifting anyone's health, and
Right.
that kind of sheds light onto why we are seeing running communities increasing, running events increasing.
Right.
And even if you see Tata Mumbai Marathon, a lot of participation is seen at the 10K level and at the Dream Run level or at the 21 level.
Right.
Because people are starting to run, and as you progress, you'll see a larger people shifting from those categories to maybe the
full marathon. Right. So, another part that I want to talk about, and this is kind of where you see the, what you call the spirit of Mumbai, is, it's 7 a.m. in the morning on a Sundays where most of people would be sleeping in their homes. Okay, of course, the runners who are running, they're there because they have to run for the event. But if you look at the streets of Mumbai, the kind of people who are there in support, the crowd that is there, and the point you mentioned about, one of your friends running just the TMM because of how the environment is.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel about that? I mean, you have so many people who are there across the city, across the route.
As I said in the beginning, that TMM today is not just a running event. It is an emotion.
Right.
People have started connecting with TMM in a much different manner. They think that TMM is something that is, they look forward to the Tata Mumbai Marathon.
Right.
People actually take that extra effort to go on the streets of Mumbai, even if they are not running. They want to be associated with the Tata Mumbai Marathon in some of the other.
Correct.
Right. So they are supporting their friends, their families, their loved ones, right? Only by cheering them. It's not a joke to run a 42 kilometer or complete a 42 kilometer on a cold, Sunday morning, because it's
Right.
winters usually
Right.
at that time. But that extra motivation, that extra support actually helps so many runners to complete that marathon. The runners have been practicing for last 8 months, 9 months, or almost a year,
Correct.
only to achieve that one goal.
Right.
And getting that support from so many other people, just adds to that motivation.
True. Very true. So, the whole report that we were talking about, what I want to ask you is, how can our listeners or anyone who wants to access this report, how can they get their hands on this report?
So this is freely available on the internet. They just need to type Tata Socio-Economic Health Impact Report
Right.
2024,
Okay.
and they will find it downloadable PDF online. So
Right.
it's pretty much there for all of the industry stakeholders, as well as normal people who would just want to know the insights of this marathon. Yeah, so it's freely available.
Right. So, as we are coming to the end of the podcast, I kind of want to come to a lighter note now. We've talked about your professional engagement with the event, and that's kept aside. personally, are you involved with, let's say, running or with TMM? How's that been for you guys?
So I do run the Tata Mumbai Marathon.
Right.
I run the 21 kilometers. This year I did not run because of some personal challenges, but I usually run the 21K, and I love that event. I look forward to that event every year. The fun part is as I said, 2004 I was part of the Tata Mumbai Marathon. It was not Tata Mumbai Marathon back then.
It was a standard chartered.
Yeah, it was standard chartered Mumbai Marathon, and my father had taken me to that event, and we both together had completed the dream run way back in 2004.
Okay,
so a very happy memory for that, and I never imagined that I would be working for the Tata Mumbai Marathon in this capacity 20 years down the line. Right. So it's a deja vu for me, but love being a part of that event.
What about you, Ayushi ma'am?
So I've never run a marathon as such, but otherwise, just to keep up with the fitness levels that we all should have, I do run 10 kilometers just for a recreational purpose and keeping up my health. Yeah.
And I believe that you are the one who is
who has run the Tata Marathon in this
Yeah,
edition.
so I've been running in the Tata Mumbai Marathon for the last 2 editions. So I ran last year and I ran this year. Both the times I did the half marathon. So of course it's always a wonderful experience. Like how we've spoken about it in this entire conversation, the whole vibe of the city is brilliant. And I think more so I would like to talk about one particular thing was how this year's event has improved a lot from last year. Now, I can only speak from last year's point of view because I've run only the 2 editions. But, all the different kind of problems, I can say, or challenges that people faced, I think most of them were solved in this year's events.
Okay.
And it's not just, I'm not talking from only my perspective, but the running community that I'm part of and the people whom I run with, I heard it from their aspect as well. Because, a problem that we usually see with marathon events is, for all the slow runners, and especially in the full marathon category, the event starts at 5 a.m. in the morning. So there are a lot of people who finish at almost post 9 a.m. And by that time, it is seen that a lot of times the stock of, the refreshments, the water, the electrolytes, it starts to get depleted. And the people who are there for the support, they've also started to leave because of, obviously, they have to open up the routes for the cars and all. But this year, that was not the case. So, even when the slowest of slow runners were coming in and completing the event, people were still there for support during the race. But I think the weather really played against us this year. It was very humid. I mean, the point you mentioned about a cold morning, I hope, or I wish it would have been a cold morning. It was not. But yeah, overall, it's always an amazing feeling to run in TMM. And I think for you, Ayushi ma'am, maybe next year would be the goal.
I would be the aspirant to be a part of the Tata Mumbai.
We should actually be a participant for this marathon.
Definitely.
But I just want to have one question for you as well. I mean, I just wanted to understand, how do you, as a runner, prepare for the Tata?
So, I mean, touchwood, from the very beginning, I have people in my family who've been running.
Okay.
So, because of that, I had kind of, had a place to fall back on when I had any kind of doubts when it comes to training or how should I approach. So, luckily, the people who I am running with, I kind of had a group to already go with. So, it included a lot of, having a lot of different training programs to follow for a couple of months before the actual event. And of course, I had help when it came to tracking my nutrition or all the other aspects of training. So overall, for me, I think the journey has been pretty easy, I would say, as compared to other people because of the support I had. And I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, overall, I think it's been a fantastic journey in these 2 years. So, I think that brings us kind of to the end of this podcast. It's been great talking to you guys. Any final message, final words to our audience or to the people who are listening?
And my final message is basically, I want more and more people to be involved in running, take up running as, as an activity. If not regularly, at least twice, thrice a week. That would be great. Be a part of the Tata Mumbai Marathon if they have never been a part of Tata Mumbai Marathon.
Great.
Understand the vibe. Get that vibe with them, and make this event, that Tata Mumbai Marathon. It's Asia's biggest event.
Yes.
Biggest marathon.
Yeah.
But I really would want to see the Tata Mumbai Marathon to be the world's biggest marathon one day. And the people are the ones who would make it big, right? So I want more and more people to be a part of it and enjoy running.
Right. Anything from you, Ayushi ma'am?
I think I would resonate with what Rohit sir wants to say. I being a nutritionist and I know the essence of running a marathon or training in general. I think a lot of people should take it up. Be it just the dream run, it does not matter. Just being a part of Tata Mumbai Marathon itself is a big thing. And they can definitely progress with enough help and get the 42-kilometer marathon runs.
Right. So, yeah, I think that's been it. I'm pretty sure that you're going to be there in a professional capacity in the marathon, but I'm hoping to see you as runners in the next edition. So, hopefully, we'll see
My
both
dream
of you
is
there.
definitely to run a 42. Not run, but complete a
Complete the
42.
42.
I hope I do it someday.
Soon. I think we'll see both of you in the next edition
Yes,
as well.
definitely.
All right. So, that's been it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching.